Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Ariels podcast, now with the Digit Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot believe this, but this is season 5. So thanks to you. This is a thriving podcast, reaching the corners of the world, all the women out there, and I'm so excited and proud to be with you. If you haven't listened to the Artist Entrepreneur podcast, my new podcast with Noah Dock and Amanda Ritchie, please check it out. It's going to be on this feed on Thursdays. We're 3 artists navigating our businesses. We have so much fun. Please check it out. It'll be in your inbox on Thursdays. And just announced September 26th to the 28th, I'll be at NECA, the New England Center for Circus Arts, for an 11-hour weekend silks immersion. So it's a retreat-esque without being a full retreat. And I'd love to see you there. It's picturesque Vermont. And I have just a handful of spots left for June 21st through 28th with sweet retreats in Oaxaca, Mexico. Roll it out every Sunday and Thursday. I have some different times to accommodate my Pacific people and my East Coast people. My flagship course, Beginner to Intermediate Aerial Silks, online for anybody in the world. And of course, Aero Rehab, which is meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aero class. I'm teaching all over the place this year. Austin, Oaxaca, Ohio, and DC this summer. And of course, NECA in the fall. Let's get started. Sloan, remind me of what you do during the day.
I'm a fitness coordinator, and so I'm a personal trainer, a certified nutrition coach, and I teach classes that we host at the Endeavors Wellness Center. And I also just generally manage the whole fitness center piece of it, just what equipment we have in, what classes we're being offered, coordinating with the volunteers, and then working with the rest of the team for different special events and things we host.
Oh my God, that's a job. So I met Sloan through Tamara, who is another one of my students, and Sloan was in class, and she is a mama. She works full time. You're perfect for this podcast. You literally check all the boxes. If you would introduce yourself, a little bit about your family, a little bit about where you're at, like you're here in San Antonio, and then we'll dive in. I'm excited.
So, hi, I'm Sloan Jennings. Where I'm at in life. I'm Maryland born and raised, uprooted myself to move to San Antonio in the midst of COVID in 2020. For the dream of being married and starting a family. And I have 2 beautiful babies from it. I am divorced. It was a whirlwind of a life, just COVID, marriage, kid, second kid, divorce. And here we are, 2025, kind of getting back to a new me, like some of the things I used to love, but learning how they feel a little different. But I have a son who just turned 4 and a daughter who is 2.5, because I'm not ready to say she's coming up on 3.
Yeah. So actually 5 years is not a lot of time to do all of that. Like gold star for productivity, actually. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, I have done a lot in 5 years.
Yes, you can feel very productive. So when Sloan and I were kind of talking about her coming on the podcast, you're talking about like these birth stories not being very, very boring.
No, yeah, I was listening to yours and there was some similarities in that John, my son, I went into his labor and delivery with my water breaking. That morning it was, oh, you're starting to efface. We'll go ahead and schedule I want to say epidural, but that's not what it is. Schedule the induction. There we go. Schedule your induction for 41 weeks because we don't want you going past that. So I was like, okay, eviction notice posted. And then I guess he took that literally because then that night is when he decided, I think he kicked and broke the amniotic fluid. But my body wasn't dilating. It was just water broke, but nothing's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went into the hospital because your water's broken. You have to.
Yeah.
And how long was this process? Like, what happened?
They were pretty casual about bringing me back. It didn't feel rushed of like getting me in and checked out because I wasn't in pain. I just had fluid leaking out of me.
Right. Just casually.
Casually follow me around with a mop and bucket.
Right.
So I'd say like that was like around roughly 3. Why I remember it so vividly, who knows? But roughly around like 3 a.m. is when they finally like checked me and they took a sample of the fluid and they were like, we think we can confidently say, but we'll still test that this is your amniotic fluid and your water has indeed broken. And they were like, but you're only at a 1 centimeter.
And you were at how many weeks?
39.
Okay, so you're like there.
Yeah, I was there. We weren't early.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then another 3 hours went by, and I was still 1 centimeter, so they hooked me up to the Pitocin.
Of course.
And then that made
just pump you full of it.
Real fun.
Yeah, and you didn't have the epidural yet, right?
No, not yet.
They say that water broken plus Pitocin minus epidural is terrible.
Concur.
Yeah. I don't even know. I had the epidural, but it wasn't working 100%. Like, they didn't really tell me that I needed to feed it to myself after a while, like with the clicker. So I thought it was just coming in, and I started to feel crazy. For me, it felt like my butt was going to explode. Like, the pain was in the back of my pelvic floor. I don't hear from everybody, but that's what it felt like to me. And I don't know what a real labor feels like because it was a Pitocin labor.
I wouldn't know either because even my daughter ended up being Pitocin, not as high. So I learned after your water breaks, they can really jack it up.
Oh.
But before, they have to keep it. So before, I want to say the threshold is before your water breaks, they can't push you past 10. But after your water breaks, they can push it up as high as they.
Yeah. So I don't even know what I experienced, honestly, and I'm not going to do it again. So that's it for my experience.
No. And I remember it being very painful. I lasted like 6-7 hours before being like, give me the epidural on the Pitocin, which meant
good for you. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, every like 2 minutes just doubled over in pain. It was not pleasant.
No. Okay, so how long was that first labor?
From water breaking to delivery was about 21 and a half hours.
I love how you threw that a half in. You're like, I'm not going to forget that extra half. Because that extra half was probably the worst part.
That was the delivery. That was a conversation I had with him, not knowing it was a him at the time. I went in not knowing either gender.
Okay.
And this is funny. So one, you know from water breaking that they put you on a time crunch.
Yes.
If you go past whatever their threshold is, my hospital, it was 24 hours, then we're going into a C-section. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to avoid healing from 2 things as much as possible. So I remember feeling like I was ready to push. And then they were like, we're in shift change.
No. Oh, come on. Come on.
So I had to like wait.
But could you physically?
Since I was like dilated and I had an epidural, like things were pretty numbed and I would feel the contractions and I would feel the pressure.
Oh, I see.
So I kind of had a light first 30 minutes of delivery of just rubbing my belly, and I was talking to baby and I was like, listen, I'm giving you 30 minutes
to evacuate the premises.
I am tired. I am done. We've had a long day. So yes, that's why that half hour was very 21
Yeah, very meaningful.
very meaningful. I was giving baby half an hour, and he took that whole half hour to get out and deliver.
Yeah, okay.
We did it, but we did it.
Okay, so you didn't have to have a C-section.
No.
Yay. Yay. How was postpartum, fourth trimester? We haven't actually talked about fourth trimester on this podcast for a long time, actually. I don't know why.
Well, exciting. I remember. John was a lot better than Addie, my daughter. My daughter was second. But both I experienced some level of postpartum depression.
Okay.
Openly, I'm very open about this. At that time, I'd already been historically diagnosed with anxiety. And
Me too.
My mother had also experienced postpartum depression, right? So my likelihood was already up.
Right.
Learned last year, about a year ago, that I also have ADHD and finally went on meds for it a year ago. So that was also a contributing factor.
Okay.
With my son, differences I felt from having had the epidural, and my daughter, I didn't have the epidural. My son, I was struggling to stay awake because I still had the lingering of the narcotics in my system. And that wasn't helping because I was feeling like I wasn't serving him. They wanted me to nurse every 2 to 3 hours. And sometimes I'd sleep through the alarm. And then I'd feel guilty about not feeding my baby and him going 6 hours without nursing.
But you're talking about you're home with the baby. You're just if everyone's sleeping, just sleep. Right?
Right. But it was my first. And so then I was all nervous from the lactation.
Yes, of course.
Heightening up my anxiety.
No, they're telling you doing all the things. Yeah, I know.
If you don't nurse every 2 to 3 hours, your milk's not going to come in. So already I'm heightened and sleep deprived and then stressing out when I was getting sleep. But yes, right, baby 2, I was baby's sleeping, I'm sleeping, everything's fine. But baby 1, I was freaking out.
Oh, I only had one baby. And the thing that I freaked out the most about was SIDS because my kid wouldn't sleep by herself, ever, even now. She won't. She will not. So I was just stressed and then, my partner is he comes more from he was raised with 7 siblings, you're on top of each other. This whole sterile sleeping situation with a clean bassinet with a child facing upwards, swaddled perfectly. He's like, what is that? But that's what all the doctors tell you is the only way.
Yes. Yeah. And then I definitely feel that first one, you're more on edge. There's no class on how to parent. And even though I kind of had a class because my siblings are 13 and 14 years younger than me. So my high school was helping my parents with infants and toddlers. I still felt unprepared to be a nursing mother. And all those anxieties and worries of the SIDS, although I don't think I was as stressed out as maybe you were, but I definitely was very stressed about nursing and worried about my milk. And then I ended up being an overproducer.
Did you and your baby together find an ease with breastfeeding or no?
Not at first.
Okay.
I had bruised nipples from not a good system. Yeah, it was very painful for 2 weeks, and I worked through it. I was very stubborn, and I went to a lactation consultant. So that was fortunate that there was consultants on base, and my ex is active duty, so I got to go on base and do free lactation, and they got to watch me and John nurse, and then right then and there, give me cues and feedback, and it was all hard and challenging and lots of crying through it. But I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, then we were in a good groove. Where my daughter,
okay,
I was here we go. And she was easy breezy.
So what was it with your son, do you think, that made it a little bit stumbling at the beginning? And then what was the thing that kind of got you to got it working?
I think the beginning stumbling, there were multiple factors. One, I had never done it before. He had never done it before.
Yes.
Two, I've heard boys take longer to figure out how to latch than girls. And then three, I think, like, just from some of the other research that's out there, that the epidural did have an impact on both of us, that both of us were just struggling to be well functioning. Where my daughter and I didn't have that. And I knew, even though she didn't, but like also her, girl, I'm figuring it out. But the lactation consultant was like what helped me. And then, like, without a better term, like manhandling my breasts, being like, this is how you make a boob sandwich for the baby.
I'm going to put that in the show notes. Boob sandwich. I tried the boob sandwich and my bean didn't need it. She like literally took to my nipple and like magneted it. And she didn't need her mouth on anything except the actual nipple. And she loves using the word nipple nowadays. I don't know why.
Nipple.
You hear her. But yeah, I saw that on all the videos, like sandwich the boob and they eat the whole thing.
Nipple.
Yes, Bean. Everyone hears you. My goodness.
And my daughter was similar. My daughter was fine with just the nipple. But my son, when he was on the nipple, he was not like all the way down to the boob. He was like further up. So then he was like gumming it. And it was
yes. Okay.
And it was very painful. And your face too, of like visualizing that pain. The bruising that was happening.
Oh my God, poor thing. Did you like, I mean, most people, the colostrum comes out, but like I wasn't like flowing at the hospital. Sometimes I wonder how people get through those first 2 days. Only you, I'm sorry.
No, it's rough.
Because
I wasn't flowing.
Yeah, it's rough.
Right? And the nurses were coming in and really squeezing my boobs, trying to pull the milk down. And that was painful and uncomfortable. And I think now that I'm talking it through and thinking about it, I think that was the other trick with my daughter. They're only 17 months apart. And I nursed my son up until he was 15 months. And then my body started switching to colostrum. And so he was then like, I'm done with this. This isn't the good stuff. So then when she was born, I was already like flowing out for her because my body had already switched over and was preparing for it.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the age difference between your kids, okay? Was this planned, by the way?
No, I had no period between them. So that means literally just facts of life. Like literally the first time I ovulated, I got pregnant.
Oh my God, it's so crazy how some women cough and they get pregnant. And then other women, it's just such a battle. And it's like, who knows, you know? So how old was your first when you got pregnant?
I was 29.
No, how old was your first baby?
Oh, when I got pregnant, 8 months.
Oh my God. So what was your reaction?
I didn't know until I was 9 months, or like a little over. I was 7 weeks when I found out. And I didn't know how old the baby was until 10 weeks when I went for an ultrasound and they did a dating estimate. Because I thought I was sick. This is November of 2021. So I thought like flu, COVID, because I was run down. I was tired. I thought COVID or the flu, and I was hunkering down and thought we were sick. And then I went to change a diaper, and it was the stinkiest, nauseating thing ever.
Because you're having morning sickness.
So then I took a pregnancy test because I was like, COVID has you lose your sense of smell.
And you can smell it. You were like, I smell everything right now. Got it.
And then I was like, uh-oh. Because I remembered last time I had a heightened sense of smell and things were nauseating to me.
Yes. Okay, so it's like what, 2022 or something?
So he was born February 2021. So this was November of 2021 when I found out I was pregnant with her.
Oh my God, the world has not come back to life yet.
No, which is
not like, even close.
It might be COVID or the flu. I'm hunkering down. I'm feeling sick. I'm, you know.
So you technically have 2 COVID babies. Like you're in a hospital and are you masked at the hospital or no?
For my son, I was. For my daughter, I wasn't.
Okay. Oh my God. Those 5 years, did you ever see The Avengers and how there's like a 5-year blip?
Yes.
That's how COVID feels. Obviously, we did not disappear, but like it feels like a gap of time.
It does. Everyone went dormant.
Yeah. Again, where you were the most productive woman on the face of the earth. So, okay. So the breastfeeding worked better with the second. I'm dying to know. Okay. I met Sloan because her friend is in my class, and Sloan was training as an aerialist before you moved to San Antonio. Is this right?
Yes, before COVID. And before I moved, because I moved during COVID.
And so where were you training before?
I was training in Baltimore, Maryland in the Dark
That's right, in the Dark Circus Arts.
Under the direction of Kelly Jo Stahl.
And then you took a blip in your aerial practice because life was too busy, and then also places were closed, all the things, and then you found yourself back.
Yes.
Just now. Let me go there really quick, and then we can go back to the momming things, because I really do want to know how you're managing all of this as a single mom too. Maybe that'll be chapter 3. How does it feel to come back to your practice? Because it must be crazy because you had 2 kids, a 5-year break. So a lot of people take a break and then they come back, but you took a break and you have 2 kids and you came back. Like, what does your body feel like compared to what you remember it feeling like in the air?
So I remember struggling my very first class and my very first 6-week session of intro to aerials or intro to silks. But I still felt good in my body and assured of my body, where coming back I remember how I used to move when I was a pro at moving. And even though I didn't feel like a pro then, right? Because also 28, 29-year-old me was always comparing myself to my coaches who were professional performers to Cirque du Soleil. And I was like, oh, I'm not as graceful and flowy. But I still performed and had a level of flow. Coming back, taking your class, I was like, ooh, my pelvic floor control wasn't there. And that after having kids generally, as well as I never had to think about engaging my pelvic floor when I sneezed.
No, that's a thing.
God. Yeah. So engage.
They just ruin everything.
But we love them.
Yes.
Yeah. Focusing on my pelvic floor engagement in the air wasn't something I did. Feeling disconnected from my transverse abdominis. Right. I don't think I had a great connection before because I really used to struggle with my cross back straddle with that tuck. But I definitely feel like it's in my body, but it still feels foreign. That neuromuscular connection is dissipated.
Well, and you work in the fitness industry. So when it comes to this vocabulary, you're as well as most of the listeners of this podcast, you're much more intellectually connected to all these ideas. And I particularly think it's crazy pants to know all that stuff in your brain and to have done it naturally before. And then now your body does not have a connection to what your brain knows. I think it's crazy. It feels crazy.
It does. It's a little disorienting, out of body experiences. And you're just where is that? I know it's there.
Are you able to feel more of a connection when you're doing mat Pilates or anything, yoga, like anytime you do any floor work where you don't have the element of trying to, keep yourself alive in the air?
Yeah, but there's not that fear of falling. Yeah, especially when I focus, because I do teach a yoga Pilates class, and next month I start my yoga training, getting my 200 hours. So I do, right? If I close my eyes and I turn inward and I focus on my breath, I always come back to the breath and focus on the deep breathing and that, like, on the exhale, engaging, squeezing the pelvic floor. But when you're in the air and upside down, you don't even remember what, like, having hands. And upside down world, even before kids, was challenging. And after, I'm really like, who am I? Where am I? Not that I have done any strenuous upside down other than just like hanging in a straddle in the sling. And then I'm still like, where's my leg? I have a leg.
What is the most challenging part of Silk's class for you right now?
Endurance. Like, I used to have a lot of endurance. Now that I've taken a few classes, that first class, I was like, I'm so winded. But that muscular endurance in the air and the cardiovascular endurance in the air, for anyone who does aerials, like, they know what's up. Yeah. Anyone who doesn't, like, it's more challenging than we make it look. We make it look easy and pretty. Come try it. But it's hard. And my body is coming back after I've taken about 4 classes now. And my body's remembering and like, oh yeah, we used to move like this, but it hurts more. It's requiring more thought than it used to. And my body wants to do the thing, but then it's like, oh, we're getting stuck. Or, muscles are getting tired and we don't have the endurance to, like, keep doing little baby pull-ups all the time and hold ourselves. Like, my strength's not the same. I'm strong. My kids are 45 and 32 pounds. I'm strong, just in a different way.
Wait, 45 and 32 pounds? How old are they?
My 4-year-old's 45 pounds. He's 4 and 45 pounds.
How old are they?
He's 4 years old.
Oh.
How old are
4 and 2.5 Bean.
I'm older than them.
Yeah, you got some tall babies.
Yeah, he was 21 and a half inches when he was born. He's 3.5 feet tall now.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
And then she's 32 pounds. And both my kids, too, are also solid. My joke is that they stole my strength in the womb. They took it out of me. They just took my strength.
I like to say Bean took all of my continence.
I'm 5.
In the front and the back, huh?
I'm 5.
You're 5.
Her continence is so good. I'm lucky, though, because I have IBS, and that's more of the problem. But she's, up till now, solid butt on this one. Totally functions the way it should. Hey. We don't need that word over and over and over.
Nipple.
Okay, we're losing it. It's the end of the day. Okay, you have to give me a little bit of time, and if you give me a little time, we'll go to the park.
Nibble.
Okay, go. Give me a little time, then we'll go to the park.
Ouchie!
Oh, yeah. We're trying. I had another podcast earlier today, and then right after that, I had like a Zoom with my boss, and she's here for the whole time. She's like, I'm so sick of work. But that's what happens when you have a mama that works at home. I haven't seen Sloan since that one class because she's got a really tight schedule with her job and her schedule with baby daddy. So hopefully we'll see each other soon. I really love torturing you guys. It's like my favorite activity. You know what I'm saying? So, Sloan, you can go into it as much as you want, but tell us about being a single mom to 2 youngsters, like how you guys are doing the schedule. Like how are you logistically doing this?
So our schedule is not the standard. Especially when it started, I was still nursing our daughter. So I have the kids, I do pick up, all of our exchanges are from daycare. Let's start that way. So I do pick up Tuesday, Thursday night, and then we alternate the Friday pickup. And he does Monday, Wednesday night pickup, and we alternate that Friday pickup. So Monday, Wednesdays, I work late at work. That way, Tuesday, Thursdays, I can leave early and get more time with the kiddos. And then, my Friday and weekends with the kids, I try to plan play dates and fun things, mom things with them, and just get time with them. And then the weekends I don't have kids, I've learned, I originally spent it crying.
Yeah.
And now I've learned to make it me. And that's kind of where it's come into of like getting back into aerials and why I was able to take your class on Saturday. And then I've been doing other things. I've been traveling or going out, whether it's far or local, on the weekends that I don't have my kids lately, that I've been doing aerial on Monday nights. And then I'm hoping for April, my plan is silks with you Monday nights. Yay. Torture there.
Yay.
I'm really excited. I'm excited because I haven't been in split fabric since your class. And then going to the other studio and doing sling one on Wednesday nights. We'll see if I can handle 2 nights of aerial in a week.
Yeah, but your schedule can handle it.
My schedule can handle it. So, because those nights I don't have the kids, and then those mornings I can get a good night's rest. I can just shower and go to bed. And it's, for me, it fills me up. It feels nice moving my body that way again. Like this, me, I'm a dancer. I started dancing at 3. And if anyone's taken my classes, I turn any class I teach into a dancey class. I'm a dancer. And so me dancing in the air is just the most natural and fun way for me to be. And so it's something that's really filling me up. It's my hobby. It's my passion. It gives back to me. So it feels good.
You know what? I talk about this on and off. It is the only physical activity. No. The only exercise activity I've ever done that takes me out of whatever I'm thinking in my mind. I cannot think of anything else besides what I'm doing on the silk at that moment. It is impossible.
Yeah. You have to be mindful and fully present, fully engaged. It's such a cerebral activity because you're constantly thinking about where you're putting tension between your body and the fabric, where you need to grip, what type of grip. And then, I'm trying to get my brain back into, but I'm being graceful with it, of fabric theory, of how, where that tension's being put, how the fabrics are crossing, and how that's creating your safety, where depending on what movement you're in, making loops, different things like that. So just being mindful of okay, if I move here, where's the safety net, or what hand do I need to keep in place, or am I safe to take hands off, things like that. But that is also still re-engaging for my brain of dust off those cobwebs, because I was starting to get there because I had 5 years. And so in my latter year or 2, I was getting the fabric theory.
Oh, you had 5 years of practice before you took a break.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like I didn't know that. What is it, Bean? Oh, or she's got her baby ready for the park. Look at this.
Ooh, oh, cute. You're going to take your baby in the stroller. It's all buckled up too.
Bald white baby. Huh? What, Bean? Yes, I did. Okay, give me some time. You gotta go do it, okay?
Nipples.
Oh my God.
I'll have them.
Nipples.
Oh my God. Nipples. So, yeah, so even yoga, when I take yoga, my mind can wander. It can completely wander, but with silks, with aerial, I'm so in the moment.
Nipples.
And it's so great to have a movement practice that makes you do that.
Yeah.
So that, it's hard enough to live in the here and now, but I'm glad that that our obsession of choice does that for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. It's clearing of mind. I can't think of anything else. Nothing else can stress me out. Like, I'm just here, I'm with it, and I get to be creative and flow. And it's not always pretty and beautiful, but it feels good.
Yeah, and Sloan is in the category. I have many women in my life who are in this category who take a break, either postpartum or they just take a break and they come back, and they're also a dancer, which means once a dancer, always a dancer. And the emotions that your category of woman goes through in class is amazing to watch, because y'all are the most hard on yourselves, frustrated, beyond yourself, that your body is just not cooperating.
Ow.
You're in a complete different category. And there's a lot of you.
After your class, I went in the car.
Did you tell me you were going to cry in the car?
I was feeling
You might have told
at the
me.
end of class, you were asking me some questions, and I was like, I feel like I'm going to cry here soon, but I was holding it in, and I got in the car and I just cried the way home, because, all those things you were just saying of me being frustrated, knowing how my body, how my body and how I wanted it to move. And over the past few weeks, I've had to come to this realization of there's no going back. And I've told so many clients this before too, right? Of like, there's no going back. After you have a baby, your body is, there's no get your pre-baby body back. Your body's changed permanently forever. Your uterus doesn't always go all the way back down. Your hips are now permanently opened, and you're not the same. Organs moved and like probably didn't move back to the exact place they were before. So reminding myself that when I ask clients to give grace, of like giving myself that same grace of like, this is a new body. It doesn't look very different, but it feels different. And I don't feel exactly the same in the air as I do before, but I want to still feel good in the air. But it's still frustrating and hard because, right, there's things where I'm like, ooh, I'm moving through this really sticky and not fluid, and I want this to be graceful, and I do not look graceful right now.
So when you're thinking those things and having that moment after class where you are crying in your car, do you later think to yourself, okay, I have this conversation with all my clients and I'm on the other side of the fence? Like, how does that conversation happen in your mind? Like,
it's in like the middle of the crying of
okay.
like, I'm really hard on myself. Then I have like a stopping moment where like, I kind of hear my rationale come in and being like, give yourself some grace. And like, I'm hearing my own like pep talk that I give to my clients. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And I had to remind myself after your class. So you had us climb to the top of the fabric and back down. And I did it, right? I climbed all the way up. Alternating. I did an alternating climb up because I wanted to be even.
Even though I didn't request it. Oh my God. You're one of those.
But I needed to be even, and I didn't want to go up a second time on the opposite side. So it was once alternating. And I did it. Did I do that on the first day I took an aerial class? No. My first time attempting to climb, I stepped on my foot and went sliding down.
Yeah.
Step, slide.
Yeah.
I couldn't climb for like at least 2-3 weeks, right? Like, I had to remind myself of that too. Like, because I remember leaving your class being like, it feels like day one. And then I had to remind myself what, in the midst of crying and the like giving self grace, I also had a talk of, okay, what did my day one truly look like? And I was like, day one, I couldn't climb. Day one, I couldn't tie a figure 8 foot lock. And I tied double foot locks.
Oh yeah.
And I stepped into my stirrups and like did my egg beater wrap and everything. And that's not something I did day one of aerial. So it was like, okay, I'm more like somewhere in the middle. And I also I had my survival moments in the fabric where you tell us when we look like we're in survival mode and we're not like engaged properly. We're just hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. Surviving. Only.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had my survival moments, but I was aware of them. And then I was able to be like, okay, let's come back down and re-engage and like reset, stretch it out. Where I think looking back, I had a lot more survival moments and not being aware. So I think there's also is like a different level of body awareness now than I had before. Just from also my time of being in the industry, from having kids and struggling with my pelvic floor, I'm much more aware of my pelvic floor and how to engage it and properly strengthen it and notice weaknesses. So there are deep muscles that I wasn't really attuned with before that I am now and have been helping other women gain that connection to.
You know, I feel like there's all different levels of this feeling because I just performed twice in the last 2 weeks, so a Friday and a Saturday night, and I haven't performed since she was born. Not in the air. I've been in the air every week, 5 days a week, but not for a performance. And I had my own complete like meltdown because I created an act and I couldn't actually get through it. And I was like, you know, it's kind of that same feeling. You're just at a different level of it. You're like, oh, well, I used to be able to do this. Holy crap. And for me, it was like, oh my God, if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it. Carrie, you need to start training more. But it's like, I have a kid. I can't. The studio is also 45 minutes away from my house. And me and my partner have a very tight schedule of who's with her when. So, you know, there are so many limitations on us as adults and then plus moms that really hamper, like, yeah, in a perfect world, I'd have way more chill training time. But I don't have that. Not right now. No. So, you know, I have the same thing where I get all my guests on here and a lot of it, I'm looking at you guys like, man, give yourself a break. You're really hard on yourself. And then I turn around, have a terrible like rehearsal because guess what? I've been focusing on teaching beginner adults. I haven't been focusing on training an act. What did I think this was going to feel like? And it's okay because I've got a lot going on. But the emotions don't change. Like the self-talk can change, but the emotion is still, holy moly, this is not acceptable. You know, like, but we all have that thought because I don't know if the word is perfectionist, but we just, you strive for excellence in everything that you do. And if you don't get there, you're just like, well, holy hell, you know?
And we have that standard of comparison of where we were before.
Yeah. Yeah, and then aging is a thing too. It's like, I'm like, I don't know what I expect of myself 10 years later, and if it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable, but how do I know? Like, you know, I'm just making all this stuff up.
Yeah, and you bring up, like, even for me, I started 10 years ago. So really, I'm like coming back a decade later and re-beginning. Yeah,
and how does that affect how you feel? How does that affect your muscle building? Like we know about the numbers on muscle building as women age. Like, we know that number, and it's a thumbs down.
Yeah, and the way our hormones shift as we get older and how that impacts our recovery. I mean, we could go
really on and on and on and on. Like, it's just not in our favor. But what is in our favor is our persistence, because no matter what, that muscle is still building or maintaining. You know, and we just fight the good fight because we love it and because we're complete insane people. I don't know what the word is.
Obsessed, passionate, enthusiastic. But, you know, it's our outlet too. Like, if you can get my creative outlet, I would not be a good mom. Yes.
100 times. Like, I need that so much. I wonder if all humans need it. And some just don't have that experience because they've decided they're not in an artistic field. Yeah, it's a good question to think about. And I think a lot of the listeners and the people who've been on this podcast before probably think about this all the time. Like, how much is that impacting me, and how much, and when I don't have it, how much is it impacting me as a mom, as an adult, as a person trying to get through the world?
Yeah, I was doing all these other self-care things before I finally turned back to aerial.
Like what? What did you try?
I was doing like monthly massage, monthly acupuncture, monthly physical therapy. Well, really, that was more like weekly physical therapy. And then I was doing Reiki once a month, energy healing. And all those things were really great, especially during the divorce, and just getting that emotional healing that I needed and that sense of stability. And then I was still doing that a good bit last year, but it's still, and I was exercising more, training for Spartans, and got back into the Spartan world last year. And then it still felt like something was missing. That creative outlet was missing. And with a friend, so I used to teach pole fitness and floor chair fitness. And with a friend, I started doing like just floor chair fun. Like I would teach her some floor chair moves and we'd have fun for like 15, 20 minutes once a week. And then I started getting my creative spark back with that. Then I was still missing those other things, right? I was then being reminded through that of like, remember aerial? Remember what it was like to move around in the air?
Yeah. And here you are now in class.
I came back. I met Tamara, and that was a big push for me, of her being like, you should come with me too. And we went to an open jam, open hang, and I got to get into a lyra again. I got to get into a sling again. And then she had recommended a few different places, and I started looking at schedules and was like, all right, like this is something I'm going to commit to at least once a month. That was my like New Year's resolution, commit to an aerial class at least once a month. And then here I am like in March being like aerial class once a week.
Yeah.
I just made it work, right? We have to make the time for the things we care about. If we don't make the time, it doesn't happen. So I shuffled my schedule in a way, or really it kind of shuffled for me in a way that worked best. And I got to reclaim like my Monday, Wednesday nights. And I learned that the aerial class doesn't like drain me for the night. Like I actually then am able to go home and decompress just like a little bit more. But like the aerial class actually decompresses me from my work. So it's okay for me to go straight from work to aerial and then home and shower and go to bed.
This is great. Okay, Sloan, do you have a piece of advice for women out there who might be struggling with life as momming and working and juggling, maybe trying to get back in their aerial practice?
One day at a time. Listen to your body. The biggest thing though, stop letting the fear hold you back. Just go and do it. You're never going to know what it feels like to move your body creatively in the air, or if you don't have an aerial passion, your alternative creative outlet. But you're never going to know what that feels like again until you try again.
Is the hardest part to make the appointment? Like, what's the hardest part? Is it to decide to make the appointment? Like, to
decide to go and going. And then once I've committed and I have money down, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
I also had an element of not knowing anyone, so meeting Tamara, right?
How did you meet her again? Did you meet her at work?
Yes, I work in, her husband's the physical therapy assistant in my building.
Yes, because she's a physical therapist herself, right?
Yeah, she doesn't do that right now, but yes, she is also
Okay.
a PT.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you have a little partner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that helped. Even though she only went to the first one with me and then I've done everything else on my own, it was what I needed to touch an apparatus again to be like, I miss this.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Sloan. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Carrie. Thanks for letting me borrow your mom.
She's been borrowed all day.
That was she says some pretty mature things. She's been borrowed all day. She's over it. Sloan, I look forward to seeing you in class. This is amazing.
Yeah. Coming back to you.
My listeners, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and review, I would appreciate it forever. It is the hardest thing about being a podcaster is to get your podcast out to the people who want to listen. So the best way to do that is to have a good star rating and just ride that algorithm. So I really appreciate if you guys would just open the Apple app and leave me a review. It makes such a difference. I appreciate you. I also have Greener Grass with Digitant Podcasts with my friend Kelly McVeigh. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, it's there for you. It's light, it's heartfelt, and we bring on some really amazing guests. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is The Expecting Aerialist.